The day I found out my mother was having an affair with my piano teacher, my father was eerily calm. All he said was that he wanted to hear me play one last piece. But as the final note faded into silence, he leaped from the roof of our 3-story home. I watched him fall. I saw his body shatter against the flagstones, his blood staining the white roses in the garden a sickening crimson. From that moment on, the piano became my deepest, darkest nightmare. That's why, on my wedding day, I told my wife, Aurora, if you ever want to divorce me, just play a song on the piano. Back then, she was just an unknown cover artist. She wrapped her arms around me, her embrace tight and fierce. Don't worry, she whispered, there will never be a piano in our house. 5 years later, Aurora was a sensation, a chart-topping singer-songwriter. When a top-tier luxury brand offered her a massive endorsement deal that required her to play piano in their commercial, she refused without a moment's hesitation. Watching the press conference, seeing the unwavering resolve in her eyes, I thought to myself, this is what true love looks like. A year after that, I came home early, clutching the sheet music for a new song I'd just finished for her, but as I walked up the driveway, I heard it, a melody flowing from the open windows of our mansion. Sound of a piano. I found Aurora seated at a grand piano I had never seen before. A young man in a crisp white suit stood behind her, his arms wrapped around her as their fingers danced and intertwined across the black and white keys. When she saw me, Aurora's expression didn't change, she just gestured casually. Ethan, this is Leo, he's your half-brother, he came to connect with family. Stared at her and a slow, cold smile spread across my face. My father only had one son. In that instant I knew. Our marriage was over. I sat before my father's grave for 3 hours, the silence broken only by the wind whispering through the cypress trees. The sky was a heavy, oppressive gray, a cruel echo of the day he left me. In my head, a Phantom concerto played on a loop. Piano, it used to be my world. 10 years ago today, my mother ran off with my piano teacher, and my father, my quiet, gentle father, ended his life to the soundtrack of my playing. After that, the piano became a ghost that haunted my every waking moment, a nightmare I could never escape. I've always believed I was the one who killed him. If I had never learned to play, if I hadn't touched the keys that day, maybe he would still be here. And now, 10 years later, my own wife had invited the son of that monster into my home, sat him down at a piano, and let him tear open my oldest, deepest wound. Most bitter irony, the piece they were playing was a melody I recognized, a variation of the breakout hit I wrote for Aurora, the song that launched her into stardom. The ladder I had painstakingly built for her, plank by painful plank, had just become the blade she plunged into my back. Finally, I stood up to leave, my joints stiff and cold. As I walked away from my father's final resting place, my phone rang. It was Aurora. "It's late, why aren't you home?" she asked, her tone flat. I said nothing. The old me, the Ethan of yesterday, would have been bursting with excitement. I would have told her the new song was my best work yet, that it would solidify her legacy, take her to heights she'd only dreamed of. But now the words felt like ash in my mouth. Silence stretched between us. When I didn't answer, her voice sharpened, climbing a few degrees. "Did you hear me? I'm talking to you." At the cemetery, I said, my voice hollow. A pause on her end. Then with a sigh of impatience, she said, "You're not seriously upset about me playing the piano with Leo, are you? It's been 10 years, Ethan. Don't you think it's time to let it go?" I wanted to scream, to rage, but a vicious cramp suddenly twisted my gut, so intense that the phone slipped from my grasp and clattered onto the pavement. Aurora must have heard the thud because her tone shifted instantly. "Is it your stomach? Are you having an attack?" she asked, a flicker of concern in her voice. "Stay right where you are, I'm coming to take you to the hospital." All those years, locked away in my studio, pouring my soul into her music, I'd forgotten to eat, to sleep, to take care of myself. The relentless pace had shredded my health, leaving me with a severe stomach.
Click the link on the homepage to watch the full follow-up for free.